Okay. So for solving equations, this is what we spent the majority of our time on, and then just how we check them. Okay? So really what we mainly focus on is right here in the bowl, okay? So our goal is to get terms, any kind of terms with a variable or a letter. So variable just means like it's a letter, it can be X, A, B, whatever. We want to get all those to the left side, and then get all the constants, so terms are just numbers, to the right side. Okay? So when we do that, we take the opposite operation, but we move it over from one side of the equation to the other. Okay? So the middle has like very detailed steps. If they help you, that's okay, but the main thing is just right here. Okay? That's what we mainly work with, and I find it's kind of easier to summarize it like that. Okay? So for these three, we're going to solve for x. Okay? Bless you. So for the first one, I want to move all my letters to the left and all my numbers to the right. So what should I move here? Okay? Perfect. -3 comes over, 4x comes over. I have to do the little arrows to show, bless you. It's okay. To show what's going where. Okay? So still have 6x, but then when the 4 comes over, it's going to become what? Negative. Good. -4x equals, I still have this 3, and then the other 3 was negative on the left, so it'll be positive. Good. On the right. Okay? Now when it says like collected like terms, this is what we're at right now. We have all our like terms together. We have all the letters on the left, all the numbers on the right. Okay? So if I have 6 x's, I take away 4 x's, I have
2x.
Perfect. I have 2x equals 3 plus 3 is 6. Perfect. Now my last step, I need x all by itself. And how do I do that, Robbie?
By moving over the 2.
Perfect. I move over the 2, and it becomes division. Just kind of running out of space. Let's do it over here. So x equals 6 over 2, which means that x equals 3.
Okay, so
Yeah, go ahead.
no.
All right. Next, we have 3 times x minus 2 equals 12. So remember, the first thing I want to do is distribute the 3 in to get just separate terms. So I'll go 3 times x and 3 times -2. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -2, Robbie?
-6.
Perfect. -6, because we have a positive times negative, and 3 times 2 is 6. Now I still have 12 on the right. Now it's just like our last question. Okay, so we don't have x on both sides, so it's a little bit easier. we bring over the 6 because I want all my numbers on the right.
You leave it at 3x equals 12 plus 6.
Perfect. 3x equals 12 plus 6. I simplify that, gives me 3x equals 18. To get x by itself, I have to bring over the 3, and remember, I like to always put it kind of down because it'll be what?
It would be 18 over 3.
Perfect. We get 18 over 3. And then you can just punch this into your calculator, but if you know what, it is 6. Perfect. Okay. The last one, when we have fractions, remember, we always look to our denominators and we look for a lowest common denominator. Then we're going to multiply that lowest common denominator by both of them, or by every term. Okay? So what's our lowest common denominator between 3 and 2? Robbie?
6.
6, perfect, because 6 divided by 3 is 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by 6 and multiply by 6.
Oh, there's 2.
We got this. Okay. So remember, if it's x plus 1 or any kind of binomial up here, we just put the 6 outside and it's going to be distribution. Okay, so on the left we'll also have 6, x minus 2, all over 2. Okay, now we distribute in the 6 on the left and on the right. Six times x is 6x. 6 times 1 is 6. And instead of putting them both over 3, remember I like to separate them. Divide by 3 and divided by 3. Just make it easier to see what each term is going to be going forward. Okay, so then I'll 6x again. And then 6 times negative 2 would be negative 12 over 2. And this one's also over 2. Okay, now we can just divide all our numbers together. Okay, so 6 divided by 3 is 2, good. Then we still the x there, it'll be 2x, plus 6 divided by 3 again, gives us another 2. 6 divided by 2 will be 3, and it still has x. 12 divided by 2 is going to be negative 6.
Negative 6.
Yeah, because we have the negative there, so it just stays there, and then we have 12 divided by 2.
There's no way I have enough room to write this.
If you don't have enough room, you can just do like an arrow, like point to the back, and then just finish up on the back. Okay, now we have one that kind of looks like, I'm just gonna scroll for a minute, kind of looks like this first one. We have variable and number on either side of the equation. So we need to get our letters on the left and our numbers on the right. So what am I moving over? Lena?
3x over to the left.
Perfect.
And 2 to the right.
Perfect. So they're almost just gonna switch spots here. Your 3 has to come over and our 2 to come over. We get 2x. The 3x becomes minus 3x because it was positive on the right. The 2 is positive, so it'll become negative minus 6. So, okay. And then what's 2 minus 3? Robbie?
-1.
Perfect. So let's put negative x because the -1 just is implied there. And then -2 minus 6. Right.
-8.
Perfect. -8. Okay, am I done?
No, because the x is negative.
Exactly. The x is negative, so we're not done yet. What do I have to do?
Make the x positive.
And when I make the x positive, I just change the sign on the left and on the right. So when I make the x positive, that will also make the 8 positive. If the 8 was already positive, that would make it negative. Okay. The last thing we want to do is solve and check. Okay. So remember, for all of these equations, when we find out what x is, we can always sub x back in, and then the left side should always equal the right side. Okay? So you don't have to do that unless if I specifically tell you to on the test. But if you want to double check your work, if you have some extra time, you finish early, you want to double check all your answers, you can, and then you know that you have 100%. Okay? So here, we have 2x equals 5x plus 6. So we're going to solve it first and then check it. Okay, so what's step number 1 here for 2x equals 5x plus 6? What's that?
5x over to
Perfect. Then move the 5x over. Then I'll have 2x minus 5x equals 6. Okay, and then what's 2x minus 5x? Perfect. -3. Is 2 minus 5 is -3, and then we still have the x attached to it. Now I want to get x all by itself, so what do I bring over?
You bring the -3 over and divide it.
Perfect. So it's not just a 3, we bring over the -3. Okay, the negative is going to follow with it. So x equals 6 divided by -3. Whenever we have a positive divided by a negative, it's just like multiplication. If we have a positive times a negative, our answer will be negative. And then 6 divided by 3, I think we already did it up higher up, but it's 2.
6.
So x equals 2. Okay. So now you can either make a chart, or we are saying like left side equals this, right side equals that. If you do the chart, that's fine. If you do like say left side equals this, right side equals that, also fine. Okay. So what we want to do is go back to the original equation and take whatever the left side was, and we'll say left side equals 2x. And then I'll go back and look at the original right side. I'll say RS, or right side, equals 5x plus 6.
Okay.
Then once I say what my left side is, what my right side is, I'm going to sub in -2 wherever I see x, and then they should be equal to each other. It doesn't matter what they equal to, as long as they're equal to each other. So here for my left side, I'll have 2 times x is -2, so I'll put in -2. The right side is 5x, so I'll have 5 times my blue -2 plus 6. Okay, now I can simplify my left side. What's 2 times -2?
Unfinished, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Robbie?
-4.
-4, perfect. Oh, no, that's perfect. Thank you. Peter's on your sheet too? Whenever you find it, give it to me on the table. That's okay. The left side is -4. Okay, so when we simplify the right side, it should also equal -4. Okay, so 5 times -2, positive times negative is going to be a negative, and then what's 5 times 2? -10, perfect. So -10 plus 6. Now, if I have -10, I add 6, so say I spent $10, but then I got $6 from my dad. He showed up and gave me 3 toonies. How much money would that be down? -4, perfect. So, left side's -4, right side's -4. So right to right is that my left side is equal to my right side. And that's how you know that x equals -2 is right. Okay?
And the left side is equal to the right.
Yeah. If they weren't the same,
You did
Like-
something wrong.
exactly. So say if I tried -1, that would get my left side is -2, and my right side would be +1. They're not equal to each other, so I know that that's not right. So I'll go back and double check and try it again. Okay? Question or?
No question.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about any of this? Stop recording.